share with you today that when I've come to summarize what I do, I found there's one choice that people can make that can change everything, that can double or triple your level of awareness in an extremely short period of time, and allow you at the same time to stop putting yourself down. Because once you allow yourself to make this choice, you'll begin to understand that you are not the problem. That there are places you're making you wrong when it has nothing to do with you whatsoever. And by doing this one thing, taking this one action, it's going to unlock the illusions of your reality. It's going to begin to allow you to see behind the curtain of things. It's going to allow you to look behind the illusions that say, no, you're not allowed to look back here. It's going to allow you to start poking around in everything in this universe in a way that you've not had access to before. That's where I'd like to invite you to go today. This one thing is actually going to change the cause. It's going to give you a sense of the cause behind the weirdness in your life. Things that have never made sense to you before are going to begin to make sense in ways that you always knew they were supposed to, but you just couldn't quite grasp. It's almost like the curtain comes back on this reality and you begin to see what's really and truly going on. And it's just by this one choice. And how did I find this one choice? It was actually, for me personally, of struggling with my finances. I had taken Access Consciousness, I had mastered these tools, and I was still stuck. And I was still not able to change things, and I was still not able to bring in the income. I couldn't get clients, I couldn't make things work. I'm like, ah! And I was in this place where I hit this choice point of, am I blocking me, or is there something else going on here? And when I look at it as I'm blocking me, all I would do is go into putting myself wrong and finding more, looking for more things to clear. And I had run out of things to clear, and it hadn't changed very much. And I'm like, so what if there was something else messing with me or blocking? And so I'd love to ask you, truth, how much are you blocking you? What percent are you blocking you? And what percent is something else blocking you? And notice which side is lighter and which side has more content to it. How much are you blocking you? And how much is something else blocking you? And what do you notice about that? Which side is lighter and has more volume to it?
Something else.
Something else.
Something else.
Mm-hmm.
Something else.
Mm-hmm.
I just got shocked with an answer that I see 0 on my side. And I always thought that it was me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have 0.
Yeah. And
Wow.
that's the illusion we're going to begin to unravel, is how much is there something else claiming and owning to be you that isn't you? Where are you standing in the point of view of something that actually is seeking to block you? And you're not necessarily allowing yourself to become aware that that is there. That's what we're going to start to look at. I want to show you the fastest access route that I know of to revealing all of this weirdness that goes on behind the scenes that causes you to make yourself wrong and put yourself down and basically stay stuck in areas that you assume are you causing the problem, but there's actually another something else here in this picture, and I want to show you what that is. Kind of the qualities of this area in general are, it's stuff that you'll feel afraid to look at. So we're going to start bumping into stuff today that you're going to feel afraid to look at, and there's a trick there, and I'll show you what that trick is. And I'll kind of release a little piece of it and say, what if it's not you that's afraid of looking at it? What if it is afraid of you seeing it? So what if it's not your fear that you're feeling? Now, it's possible you have fear in there as well, and I'll show you how to untangle that. The other thing is, the other quality about this stuff is it seems too big to look at. Like, it's like, oh, I can't look at that. It's so huge. And it is only because you've made yourself about that big. When actually who you be as an infinite being is bigger than all of this stuff put together. There's an inversion that occurred here, and I'll talk more about that. There's this energy of you're not supposed to look at this stuff, and you're not allowed to look at this stuff. Anybody experience those things, being afraid something's too big to look at, you're not supposed to look at it, or you're not allowed to look at it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Recently I've been looking, and you are like bingo. It's exactly the thing that I've been going through lately.
Yeah.
Things that I just like, okay, I dare, I will look at it.
Yeah.
And just...
Yeah. And that right there is what I'm talking about. Is that willingness to look at that. What changed for me, what changed everything, is one decision I made. And that was a commitment to look at everything. I committed to myself that I'm going to do whatever it takes to look at everything. Nothing in my universe, nothing in my reality, nothing in this world, nothing in anything will go unquestioned, will go unnoticed, or will go hidden. Nothing. I committed to myself to look at everything. And here's why. And here's what you'll find as you start to look at this stuff. So, what is everything that's actively seeking to stop you personally from becoming aware? Just allow yourself to tap into that. What is everything actively seeking to stop you personally from becoming aware? Now, right away there's like, oh, I can't look at that. Now just kind of set that aside and just allow yourself to be aware of all of that stuff. Get a sense of the magnitude of the stuff. And what is everything that's preventing you personally from stepping into what you came here to be and do? Whoa, feel that. And what is everything that is personally trying to stop you from connecting to your gifts and abilities? Whew. So there's one thing that I use here to really start clearing this out. There's stuff that they put in place to prevent you from perceiving them and their games and their constructs and their realities and all this stuff. And it's not really big and scary, but there's a lot of crap. There's a lot of cloaking and energy fog is what I call it. And so I'd love to just feel what currently is there blocking what we've been at, those three things I asked you to perceive, and allow yourself to tap into what is all the energy of unknowable, of unspeakable, of unseeable, of untouchable, of undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, and energy fog. And allow yourself to expand to the size of the universe, perceive more, and the multiverse, perceive more, and the beyondverse, perceive more, beyond that, into the infinite realms, perceive everything. So, do you notice there's a little bit of content here? Just like, okay, so let's clear that. And so what I do to clear, and you can use any tools you like, there's no right or wrong way to clear it. What I love to do is I love to vaporize. So I'm kind of imagining there's this big ball of flame that's coming out and just whew, instantly it's all gone, just poof, turned to vapor, gone. Or I'll liquefy it. Like some things don't like vaporizing, like concrete. Like, vaporize. But liquefying concrete, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I'll vaporize it after that. Whatever. Like, it's play for me. So I invite you to imagine this big pile of stuff. So what is all the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog? And can we choose, and it's just a choice, can we choose to destroy and create all of this stuff that's blocking us?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah, I
Yes.
choose that. I choose that. And this is where we then just vaporize. Just intend, we're just going to send out this energy and we're going to have fun. And vaporize. Ready? Vaporize. Liquefy.
Vaporize.
Liquefy. Vaporize. And behind you, liquefy. Vaporize. Above you, vaporize. Liquefy. And vaporize. Liquefy. Vaporize. Liquefy. Vaporize. Liquefy. Resend, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And now I can feel all this just kind of energy moving stuff, turning into nothingness, stuff dissolving like this cloud of things just settling down, the ashes of things, just kind of going, ooh, okay. So the ashes are okay. We'll just get a vacuum later and we'll clean all that up. So now allow yourself to tap into what is everything that's actively seeking to block you personally from finding out the truth of who you be as an infinite being. And just grab the magnitude of that. And what is everything that's blocking you personally from getting in connection with your physical body? And what is everything blocking you personally from getting in connection with the being who is your body? Ooh, there's even more of that. And what is everything in the way of connecting to being successful in this reality? Because what I find when I work with people, you know the tools to be successful. Like, you came here with these tools already, but there's all this confounding and manipulation and entanglement that's generated a confusion and a distortion of your reality so that you can't be successful. Allow yourself to perceive everything that creates that in your reality. Whew. And allow yourself to perceive everything that prevents you from stepping into your prosperity. Whoa. Yeah. And expand to the size of the universe, perceive more. Expand to the size of the multiverse, perceive more. Beyond that, beyond that, beyond that. Connect into the infinite realms, perceive all of it in all directions, all the way around you. And everything, all this is, can we choose to destroy and create all that?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that.
I choose that. And vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Resend, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whew. And just let all it go. Just intend to let all it go. This is the cloaking. This is the garbage that hides and makes everything confusing in your reality. We'll clear this continuously. We'll keep clearing this. And I suggest that you start to add this to your, if you have a clearing practice, start adding this to your clearing practice at the end of it. All the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, and energy fog around all that. And that'll be connected to a PDF that you'll get here. So you'll get this written down. You don't have to write it down. So if you keep clearing that, you're clearing the stuff that makes it foggy and hazy and blurry and confusing and undetectable. Like, what if who you be as an infinite being is a being of intense clarity? Like, you just get things, you just see things, you just know things. There's a solidness about your perception of everything. What if that's who you be authentically? And what if there's these manipulations to prevent you from being that? So that's what I want to invite you into, looking into that. And I've come to call this manipulation. And what is that manipulation? Later on we can talk more about what that is. I don't want to get tangly with that. I like to actually keep it generic. I found that keeping it generic actually allows me to grab a larger chunk of stuff. You go out looking on the internet and they'll say, oh, it's the grays, or it's the this over here, or it's the demonic forces, or it's the angelic whatever, like whatever. It's stuff, okay? That I'm going to call manipulation. Or another way that I'll say it is, when you look at the manipulation in its larger form, you begin to see the structure of it. It has a structure to it. And I call that structure the Matrix. And I'm not the person to invent that. The movie invented that for my reality. So for me, I'm looking at what is this structure and how can I show people how it's constructed in their reality so that they can begin to dismantle all of it. And when I began doing this a year or two ago, I didn't know if you could dismantle all of it. But I knew I could grab pieces of it and let's go and let's see how much we can hack out. I'm to a place a couple years later where I can tell you we can dismantle all of this. Like the deeper you get to see it, the more you recognize the depth of illusion that's here. And I want to show you more of that today. So what I'd like to say about manipulation is it does not want you to see or understand it. But you think you don't want to see it or understand it. What if you're not wanting to see it or understanding it isn't your point of view? What if that's the beings who are in this matrix, are maybe in your body or in your reality, actively manipulating your reality? See, what I've learned is the further along people go towards becoming aware, especially if you've started engaging clearing tools and you have an intention to start moving forward and stripping the garbage out of your awareness and start stepping into who you be and what you came here to do on this planet, then all of a sudden manipulation starts to panic and goes, oh my God, they're breaking out. And they start to go to reinforce that, and they become more active in your environment, in your field. Has anyone else noticed as you go forward, it seems like it gets worse, not better?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So I used to put myself down for that and da-da-da. What I found is just, oh my God, they're getting out. And I thought, wait a minute. What do you mean they're getting out? Whose perspective is that? That's not my perspective. I'm choosing to get out. It's like, oh, wait, there's something else here that's trying to keep me in. What if that perspective of you not wanting to see it or you not wanting to understand it is the control systems or manipulation's point of view and not yours?
Yeah.
Feel that. Just let that sink in. And here's another piece. I used to work with people on hiding. They're like, oh, I'm so hiding. I'm trying to hide, and I don't know why I'm hiding, and da-da-da-da. So, truth, are you trying to hide, or is manipulation in the control system doing everything in its power to trying to hide, to keep the illusion in place? Feel that. I can feel people's reality going, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So, how much are you seeking to hide? Feel that? How much is something else in your reality seeking to hide? How much are they so ever present in your reality that you begin to think that those energies are you and yours when they're not? They're manipulation, they're the matrix, they're the control system that is seeking to prevent you from becoming aware, prevent you from becoming conscious, prevent you from connecting into who you came here to be, seeking to keep you in the illusion and tangle more illusions on all the time whenever they can find little corners to tangle more stuff in. Feel that? So what is all the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, and energy fog around all of this stuff? And expand to the size of the universe, perceive more. Expand to the size of the multiverse, perceive more. Beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, into the infinite realms, and perceive all of it. And everything that all of this is, can we choose to destroy and create all of that?
Yes, I choose that.
Yes, I choose that.
All of it, all of
Vaporize,
it,
liquefy,
all of it.
vaporize, liquefy. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. All dimension liquefy, all direction liquefy. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Gone. Whew. Just feel all these ashes. It's like snowing. It's not the cold snow though, so it's okay. We can deal with it. So, and the other component there is, how much do you feel that you're blocking yourself? How much do you feel like you keep blocking yourself, or you keep getting in your own way? How much is that you feeling manipulation installing blocks or seeking to block you or trying new ways to get in your way. Let that reorganize for a moment. Your infinite being, can you feel this kind of in your reality? Like there's like a light goes on, your brain goes, but there's like your infinite being, when it hears certain things, it goes, oh, that's what that is. Got it. And it starts to reorganize your reality right here, right now. And it does it like that. And you can feel that. The more you do this kind of work, you can actually feel that working. If you can't feel that, don't worry about it. Over time, you'll begin to feel that stuff. So for me, I started to make this thing of like, I demand to see this stuff. And I'm looking at my finances, stuck, locked down, going broke. Yeah, I keep spending money, but I was operating off of savings that I had from this. I won't go into the story, but like I had this windfall of money that shouldn't have actually come back to me, but it did, and I was really grateful. And it kept dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. And in that time, I was going to build my business, and I'm going to connect with clients, and I'm going to get myself out there, and I'm going to make this happen. And I couldn't seem to do that. And manipulation kept piling on and piling on and piling on and getting stronger. And I'm like, why can't I do this? Like, what is it? I can't even think clearly anymore. I don't know who I am. I keep blurring out. I keep going away and zoning out. And then I come back like a day later and I'm like, wow, where did I go? What was that? And I was here, but I was unconscious. I was gone. And I kept blaming me for all that. What I found out later was that wasn't me. It was manipulation recognizing I'm getting ready to move forward, and it recognizes, or what if it recognizes, once you move forward, you become unstoppable. Allow yourself to perceive that. Once you get to a certain point, you are unstoppable. So what would it take for you to get to a place where you become unstoppable? Where nothing and no one can stand in your way anymore.
I choose that.
I choose that. And having chosen that and getting to a place where it's like, wow, you get to a certain energy, you get to a certain level, you become unstoppable. It doesn't mean it doesn't try. It just means it's like, go away. Every so often they find something new and you're like, wow, what is that? Okay, but like, all I have to do is keep asking more questions, becoming more aware, and I'm going to teach you how I do that. I want to give you tools in these 3-4 free videos. I want to give you tools that even if you don't go any deeper in any of the coursework with me, you have enough stuff to start changing your reality in a huge way. So that's my target. That's where I'm seeking to take you, is to give you enough core foundational elements where your reality is going to start changing, and manipulation is just going to have to start going away because you're choosing different. You're choosing to perceive it. So here I am in the space of going broke, and here I am in the space of, oh, I can't look at this stuff. I've cleared everything I can clear. And I was just so pissed off that I couldn't move forward. I was willing to look at everything. And what I began to saw really startled me, because as I began to look, I saw the magnitude and depth and all the interlockingnesses of all the manipulations, beginning around my finances and going out from there. And we won't have time in this program in the course. So I don't want to tease you too much. I'm showing you where I'm going, and this will invite you into a course called Out Creating the Matrix that is going to begin to take you there. But these introductory videos are giving you a taste, and I want to give you something that is going to move you forward whether you take the course or not. But for those of you who are panicked of like, oh my God, how am I going to get all this? There'll be a way that you can take the course and you can go very deep with all this stuff. We will also go into money and looking at the manipulation of finances, which until you see that, yeah, good luck. It's possible, but your willingness, your commitment to look at all all. Manipulation in your reality, and especially in your finances, is going to change things. Here's what I've come to understand. All problems are a lack of awareness. All problems in your reality are a lack of awareness, period. You don't have enough information to know how to engage in. That's what it feels like. It's like, I'm stuck, I'm trapped, and I can't figure out how to get out of this. When you get the players and you get what's going on, you, the infinite being, will automatically find ways to work around it. Your brain may not understand it. Your physical reality, you may not in this reality get the big concept for years down the road, or months, whatever. It may take a time for it to unfold. Your infinite being, the higher part of you, whatever you want to call it, is going to get it and begin to dismantle things in your reality automatically. The entanglements go up and down the entire chain of everything. Even your infinite being is confused about certain things. My interesting perspective. Like it makes, let's just say, assume that's not exactly the right way to say it, but assume that everything, top to bottom, is entangled in some way, shape, or form, and you'll start to see more than you've ever seen before. What you are willing to become aware of, you will automatically find ways to work around. That's the reason my suggestion to you, and my first key, is to commit to fearlessly becoming aware of all manipulation in your reality. All manipulation in your reality. All manipulation in your reality. Because what I know about you as an infinite being is you will automatically start to find ways to work around it, whether you allow yourself to cognize that or not, doesn't matter. You will begin to work around it. It's you that does this. There's not some mystical thing that waves a magic wand. It's you and the choices you make and the decisions you make and the awareness you have that allows this stuff to shift. And I want to invite you into going deeper and deeper and seeing what's actually going on here. Once I started to see this, I started to notice it wasn't just my finances that were messed with. My relationships were messed with. The thoughts in my head were being messed with. My emotions were being messed with. People around me were being messed with to mess with me. I started to see all of this stuff, and it freaked me out at first. Or it freaked out manipulation, one of the two. Probably freaked out manipulation, actually. I never thought of that. It would have freaked out manipulation, because all of a sudden I'm seeing what's actually going on. Clearly and without confusion. It's like, wow, that's seeking to manipulate me. Okay, how can I work around that? It's very simple. When you see something coming at you, you can go, oh, no, bye-bye. It's like Neo in the Matrix, dodging the bullets. What if those bullets are manipulations coming at you? You just see it coming at you. It's like, oh, that's interesting. They're trying that one again. Okay, and it goes by you. That's the way it can literally work. You function faster than they do. So you can just go whoop and it goes by you. Sometimes you don't catch it, and then you start to have to ask questions. What was that? How can I untangle that? How can I change that? How can I create that? And I'll give you tools for doing that. But it's like when you start to become aware, you will automatically begin to work around this stuff. That is what I've learned about working with hundreds of people who are on this path that we're on, of trying to claw our way out of this matrix and step into who we came here to be. You will automatically start to do that once you become aware. Take that in. Just kind of feel that. Like it's a natural thing. There's a part of you that knows you have the power to do that. You just get that inside. You know you should be able to just untangle all of this. Why isn't it working? It's not working because you don't get the magnitude of the manipulation that's occurring. You think it's just a little bit of here and a little bit of there and a little bit of here and a little bit of there. And it's not. It's in everything. It's in everything. So that's why I want you, if you want to move forward, I suggest you commit to fearlessly becoming aware of all manipulation in your reality. And so in these in these 3 free videos here, I want to begin to show you how manipulation hides stuff from you and blocks things from you. And I want to teach you tools how to clear all that stuff, how to get rid of it so you can see around it, see through it. They manipulate your capacity to get information. You have a connection to the organic universe, and your resources, and you have a capacity to get all the information and all the resources you require like that. But those channels are manipulated too. I want to teach you how to go around all of those manipulations and how to go around all of those alterations of this universe and of your reality, and be able to receive your information, your awareness, unmanipulated. It's a weird process, but it works. So I want to show you how to do that. And I want to give you clearings. I want to give you a page of clearings that you can use every day to get back to the essence of you, to get back to the core of you, to get back to the you that they're trying to hide so that you don't recognize who you are. I know that if you keep going back to that every day, you make a commitment to, that's another commitment, to getting back to you every day. That's another video, you'll find it later. You will automatically begin to embody more and more and more and more and more of you. It's the reason they try so hard to tangle it so you don't know who you are. How many people have the feeling that you know totally who you are? And how many people are in the space where, like, any given time, like, you just have no fucking clue. Some days you think you're this, some days you think you're that. It's blurry, you can't tell, this is complicated, this is confused, this is tangled. You just have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
Is that closer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I was there. I can show you how to get out of that. Your willingness to commit to doing these things is gonna just start marching you forward in a way that manipulation can't work against. They'll try, but you will keep what I call out creating them. You will create over them. You'll create beyond them. You'll run circles around them. You'll go underneath them. You'll go around the outside of it. You'll make, and I'll show you how to make them disappear as well. Like, there's one thing to just keep dealing with all that crap. I want to show you how to get rid of all that stuff, and that's more advanced. But so that's my objective here, is I want to start giving you some core tools that you can start getting back to you, getting your information, and removing the stuff that's blocking you. So where do I start with all this? Well, I'm going to start with this topic that I call the big lie. And I am going to first engage, let me see how I can do this. It's this one here. I'm going to share my screen. I found this quote as I'm going through. I'm a researcher. I dig and I find, and whether I'm doing it internally or whether I'm doing it in this world or in the internet, I'm constantly researching and constantly digging, because the more I can find, the more I can understand, the easier it is to explain to people. I get, and I know you get what's actually going on here, but you don't have words for it. Today I want to give you some words that I've found to help you start get what's going on. Here's something that I ran into. I'd like you to start opening up to this one thing. This came from Hitler. He has a book that he wrote called Mein Kampf, My Struggle. And on page 313 of this is obviously the translated, because he wrote in Deutsch. I'm going to read this quote. The great masses of people may fall victim to a great lie rather than a small lie, since they themselves also lie sometimes in little things, but would certainly be too ashamed to tell a great lie. Thus it would not enter their heads to tell a great lie, and they would not believe that others could tell such infamous lies. Indeed, they would doubt and hesitate even after learning the truth. They would continue to think there must be some other explanation. Therefore, just for this reason, some part of the most imprudent lie will remain and stick. a fact that all great lying artists and societies of this world know only too well and therefore villainously employ. Adolf Hitler. I don't know what year it was written, but it was probably in the 30s somewhere. Take that in. You're used to assuming that everything would be a small lie. Because that's how much conditioning have you received not to lie? Right? Why? So that everything else can be in such a huge lie that you would find it unbelievable that somebody could lie that big. I love in here that he talks about a great lie. A great lie. He doesn't talk about it as oh, it's a huge lie. He talks about it as wow, that's a great lie. That is so great. That's so effective. That is so potent. That's a great lie. Do you feel that? What he's revealing in this paragraph, when I saw that, I'm like, holy shit, right there, he's saying it. It's what if, and the way if I were to put this into words, I'd put it into words a little differently than he did. I would say, what if everything is a lie? What if everything you've been told, what if everything you've been taught, what if everything that you think is real or true, or defend to be real or true, is actually a lie? And a big one, not a little one. What if it's an inversion of the truth? It's the opposite of what it actually appears to be. There's just enough truth in there to make it you feel that there's something true, but it's inverted. As I go through this stuff, there's so much stuff that's actually inverted. It's flipped around, and so you're like, well, no, wait a minute. No, I must be backwards. Well, what if you're not the one that's backwards? What if manipulation has inverted almost this entire reality around? Everything that is supposed to be the way you're supposed to do things is actually a manipulation. And what if you know that? What if you've known it since you were a kid? So I've thrown a lot of stuff at you. How does this register for anyone who wants to share?
On my side, you just speaking my truth. I'm very comfortable with what everything is saying.
Cool.
Big line.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else?
Linda says, mind-blowing, and it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's play the monk.
Yeah. 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 Anybody else?
Well, it explains why it just gets harder. And why people around me are a big part of that manipulation.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Fucking unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Spinning. Diana is spinning.
Yeah.
Me personally, I almost feel like it's something that I've had access to for a long time, but it's just needed another participant to engage it in order to see, in order to actually see how that's engaged, and if that makes sense. Yeah.
It's almost like a lot of this, I just needed to have an acknowledgement.
Exactly.
It's what if there's a part of you that intuitively gets what's going on? That's what I'm going to call your awareness, your knowing. You just get it, but there's all of this stuff that's been spun around to tangle it and make it confusing. When you clear all of the unknowable, unspeakable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog, you start to see it for what it is. The next reaction is I can't believe that. I can't believe it'd be that blunt, it'd be that big, it'd be that bold, that it'd be that much of a what did Hitler call it? A great lie. Like, it's such a huge lie. Like, how is that possible? When you start to look through that lens, you start to see the world in a completely different way. That's my invitation. It's like, how can I take you there? It's interesting at this in this course, the paid course, not the what I'm taking you in now. In the paid course, I make this commitment to you that I will double your awareness, or I'll give you your money back. And I've had people in the beginning of the course, usually they're like, how can you make a commitment like that? Like, serious, like you can't possibly make a commitment like that. I'm showing you today, like, when you really get this, it doesn't take much to double and triple and quadruple and 10 times and 100 times and 1,000 times and 1,000,000 times your awareness. It doesn't take much. It's actually very easy to do. That's what I want to invite you into. How can you keep magnifying your awareness and go deeper and bigger and deeper and bigger and deeper and bigger? So what is everything currently? Allow yourself to perceive everything that's currently in your way of perceiving the big lies, the huge lies, the vast lies. And what is all the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, and energy fog around all of that? And expand to the size of the universe, perceive more. Expand to the size of the multiverse, perceive more. And beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, bigger, bigger, bigger. Like, just double your size and perceive more. Double that, double that, double that, double that. There you go. Yeah. Double that, double that, double that, double that. And now expand into the infinite realms. And everything that all of that stuff is, can we choose to destroy and create all of that?
I choose that.
I choose that.
I choose that.
Yes.
Vaporize, liquefy, all dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. All dimension liquefy, all direction liquefy. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Wow. And
Can I ask a question?
Sure, yeah.
How do you then prevent yourself from becoming paranoid with all this information?
That's a very good question. Very good question. I have been there.
Daily.
So here's an interesting thing. So, truth, is it you that's paranoid, or is it something else that's paranoid? So now you can have things that register as you that are also paranoid, and I will show you how to untangle those. And if I can pull it off, I want to, even within the free content here, give you a rundown for clearing that kind of stuff out, and I'll talk more about that down the road. But a lot of it is just a viewpoint shift. When you go big and you start to go, really, is that me? Is that someone else? Is that something else? Which is a tool of Access Consciousness Gary Douglas taught. It's like by willing to change your perspective and see whose perspective you're in. Am I in my perspective, or am I in something else's perspective? You start to see things. If you're in a really small perspective, if you're really scrunched down, and you're like, oh, I'm a pathetic little human being, oh, poor me, then everything is going to seem like it's you. It's part of the manipulation, the illusion of this reality. When you expand to the solar system, galaxy, universe, beyondiverse, into the infinite realm, you leave all of those constructs behind because they don't exist in the infinite realms. Most of them don't exist in the beyondiverse. Some of them exist in the multiverse. And the more we play with this, the more you'll start to see it's like, as you expand, you get bigger than it. You go from an expanded space and you ask, does this belong to me, or does this belong to something else? And you'll see it clearly. So that's the shortcut answer.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, but
it has to-
there are all manners of emotional manipulations that are engaged there. And your willingness to confront all of them and step outside of them or go beyond them or to clear the manipulation that's there makes it that form of manipulation is no longer possible. Partially because you get, oh, I can actually clear that. and two, after a while, they realize you can clear it. They look for other things. Yeah.
And paranoia can also be a form of control.
Oh, absolutely. All of this stuff is a form of control. Yeah. It's control as long as you're willing to accept being controlled. Feel that? Yeah. It's being controlled is optional. And we have all this programming about it's good to be in control. Oh, is it? Really? Okay. Maybe not. So when you start to take that apart, all of a sudden control starts to be optional. It's not what it appears to be. It's another illusion of this reality. Yeah, great question. Thank you. Okay. So, allow yourself to perceive everything that is currently up in your universe, up, active, engaged, churning away, doing stuff. And can we choose, make the choice, to destroy and create your attachment to that? Just let it go. Whatever viewpoint or story you have about why you have that, we're just going to ignore it all and throw it all in the dumpster. And then vaporize it, incinerate it. So everything that all this is, that's up, active, expands the size of the universe, perceive more. Multiverse, perceive more. Beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, perceive all of it. And everything, all that is, can we choose to destroy and create all of that?
Yes, I choose that.
Choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. All dimension vaporize, all dimension liquefy, all dimension liquefy, all dimension vaporize. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whew. So I'd love to, let me keep going, and I want to show you another piece here. So I want to go back to this document. So one of the things is the bigness of the lie. The second thing is that manipulation is highly personalized. I didn't get this in the beginning. I didn't get the depth of personalization. Like, what if your entire universe is a personalized universe? What if you are in your own universe? You notice you engage other people and they have a completely different way of viewing things. What if their universe is unique to them? What if your universe is unique to you? What if you are in your own unique manipulation that is personalized for you based on your purpose, your reason for being, your gifts and capacities, what you enjoy doing? It's personalized to prevent you personally from moving forward. Just let that sink in for a moment. And I'm gonna show you an element that they use for that, but while I'm on this page, so I don't have to bring it out again. Manipulation has also been carried out over millions of years and thousands of generations. So this is more like the end product of a highly extended process of manipulation. I realize time doesn't exist, but they operate in a different wavelength than we do, so it creates the illusion of time when you see perspective relative to them. It generates this illusion of time. So let's just play in the illusion of time for a moment and say that it's been manipulated for a long time. And I'll show you what we can do with that as we move forward. But there's one other element that I want to bring in here about the personalization of it. And this was something that I didn't totally, I saw all of this stuff in my reality and I was like, okay, I get it. But I didn't really deeply get it until I saw this next piece here. And so I want to talk to you about brain research here a little bit. This name of guy named Karl Wernicke, who is a German neurologist and psychiatrist. And he found that there's a part in the brain, and it's this orange part here that he named after him, which you can do that when you find something, that it's today called the Wernicke's area. It's the language comprehension area of your brain. Okay? And we're tripping over all kinds of stuff here, so I want to pause. And do you feel this kind of like soup, sludgy kind of something that we're in? Okay, you may not, but there's the group as a whole is kind of in this sludgy thing. So what is everything that's up, active, or engaged at the moment? And what is all the unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog, unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable around all of this? And everything that all of this is, can we choose to destroy and create all of this? Yeah.
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah. Resent, revoke, or can't reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, all dimension vaporize, all dimension liquefy, all dimension vaporize, all dimension liquefy, resend, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, vaporize, liquefy, liquefy. And what are all the binds, double binds, triple binds, quadruple binds, binds beyond binds, binds beyond binds, binds beyond binds to infinitum? All the auto-install, auto-reinstall, auto-backup systems, technologies, magics. Woo! All the divine, golden, billion, trillion year agreements here. All the entry, exit, re-entry agreements. Yeah, there we go. And everything that all those are, can we choose to destroy and create those agreements that prevent you from perceiving the truth of your reality?
I choose.
Yes, I choose that.
I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, resend, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, vaporize, liquefy, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish. Sovereign being, sovereign body, free will universe. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Woo!
Jaden,
Yes.
it's Wilma again. I just want to ask a quick question. You brought up, the word that's coming to me when you asked about soup and sludge was a can of worms or Pandora's box, and it was the second you mentioned Wernicke. I remember reading something about that and feeling as if we have these little time bombs in us that we don't know about. Anyway, that was my interpretation of what I read about that. They're little time bombs in us that we don't even know about. So how can we, I guess,
thank you for
protect yourself or get rid of them?
Yeah.
So was that clearing that you did? Do you think that released?
So
for us?
let me tell you what I found about it. Is that for most people, if you're on a path of consciousness, if you're on a path of awareness and you've engaged clearing tools in some way and you've begun working with those, it's your level of consciousness that takes you above that. When you live in your brain and when you live in this unconscious illusion reality, that stuff is active and dynamic in there and kind of charged in there. As you become more aware, you live outside of that space, that stuff doesn't have the power that it had. It does not have the power that it had. It doesn't mean it's not there. It's often like it's like a spring-loaded trap and you can feel it, but you're not necessarily going to trigger it. It's an interesting paradox, and the first time I went through this exact content, I was really afraid of triggering this stuff in people. And what I've found in hindsight is that it doesn't work that way. Is that your level of awareness puts you outside of that realm. You're not in that. You're not trapped in the same world anymore. People who are completely living in their mind and completely in unconsciousness, there's still a certain amount of that in there. Also, it's eroding away. The foundation of all this stuff is eroding away. We're learning how to take the foundations out from underneath it. So, so what are all the points of view that you have that there are things inside of you, this is for everybody, that there are things inside of you that are, they're called booby traps, that are spring-loaded something or others, that when you go in there and you look at them, that they could release and they could create all manner of havoc in your reality. Allow yourself to perceive all the points of view that you have around that. And expand to the size of the universe, perceive more. And multiverse, perceive more. Beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond all that, perceive all of it. Whoa. And everything that, all of those, it's just a point of view. All of those points of view are, can we let go of all of those?
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah, I choose that. I choose that. And vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, all dimension vaporize, all dimension liquefy, all dimension vaporize, all dimension liquefy, all dimension vaporize, all dimension liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, sovereign being, sovereign body, free will universe, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy.
I just got something, a really funny image that came. You know when you see a bomb that's been set up and they have the bomb squad come in and I think detonate. Does that mean, that means to set it off, doesn't it? That doesn't mean to stop it. So while you were doing that last clearing, I had a vision of, and I understood exactly what you were saying before you explained and then did the process itself. But are we able to take it one step further, that anything that is left there is completely almost like, I think that's what the picture was meaning to me, was that I could actually see like somebody in that outfit that they usually wear, that they're I'm not sure what the word is, but disactivating or deactivating the bomb, so it can't blow up ever again, sort of thing.
Yeah. So allow yourself to play with that. So allow yourself to find all of the booby traps and triggers that are in your system anywhere.
Okay. And
actually what they do, this may be more fun rather than sending in that when they send in bomb squads nowadays, they'll contain it and they'll actually blow it up. They add explosives to it and they actually blow it up. Which amuses me on some level. So however you feel like you want to, allow yourself to perceive all of those spring-loaded traps in your consciousness, in your mind, in any layer of your reality. And allow yourself to like put a containment over it and put explosives under that, or however you want to do it. You can do it any way you'd like to do it. And then we're gonna destroy all that stuff on 3. Ready? Like get your big plunger. We're gonna push down and blow them all up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And watch all the smoke and the stuff falling. It's snowing again. Now, we'll talk more about this as we go, but that kind of play does more powerful stuff than serious stuff does. I want to invite you into playing more, and I won't get a chance to talk about it a lot on these free calls, but your play is extremely powerful. Anytime you feel compelled to play, like you get a picture of something and you'd be like, oh, that'd be cool, do that. That's your solution for making that whole thing go.
Well, when you mentioned about the plunger, what I almost giggled and I had to stop myself so nobody would hear it, because what I got a vision of is those old Bugs Bunny Roadrunner cartoon, you know, where. So thank you for that.
That's what I do. That's what I do. Yeah, I just absolutely play with that. Absolutely play with that. Yeah, cool. So what I'd like to do, and I'm gonna reset this, and I'm gonna start over. Yes.
Since you just said I'm gonna start over, please allow me to go slightly back when you ask a question. How it registers when you were talking about manipulation and the great light. Even though I just would love to go back there, because I feel like right now, I feel like I'm all shrinking down.
Thank you.
For the reason of not saying everything what I've been aware of, and I feel like I'm making myself wrong for that. And I feel like, yes, and I'm getting not comfortable.
So, cool.
What I felt like I have this awareness when you were talking about this. Even though everything you were saying is such a comfort and ease for everyone who had been in touch with themselves and actually had experience, not somebody told them.
Can I pause you? Can I pause you? I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop you. I get where you're going.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And I wanna take a shortcut outside of all of that. So let me expand you, because you've gotten. Do you feel like you're really contracted?
I feel very contracted. I feel almost nauseous because I just.
Yeah. So let me show you. So rather than let's talk about it, let's do it. So allow yourself to connect to the biological planet as it actually is, and connect to bigger than the solar system, and expand to bigger than the galaxy.
Yeah.
There you go. And expand to bigger than the universe. And expand to, bigger than the universe. And expand to bigger than the multiverse. Yeah. And bigger than the beyondverse. And bigger than that, and bigger than that, and double that, 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 double that. Get bigger, 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 double that, double that, double that, double that, double that. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Double that, double that, double that. There you go. Yeah, keep going. Double, 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 double. Bigger, 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 bigger. And expand into the infinite realms. And connect into your infinite being. And everything that all of that old stuff is, can we choose to destroy and create all that?
Yes.
This is for everybody.
I choose that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. All dimension, vaporize. All direction, vaporize. All dimension, liquefy. All direction, liquefy. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Sovereign being, sovereign body, free will universe. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. There are a fascinating number of disempowering illusions that are hiding this stuff. When I say that you need to fearlessly go commit to fearlessly look at everything, I'm not saying that lightly. Like, this brings up some really deep shit that's just like, oh my God, I'm going to be destroyed here. So truth, is it that you are going to be destroyed here? Or is it that someone or something else is going to be destroyed here?
Something else.
Yeah. Yeah. So was that, Alexandra, was that your point of view, or was that something else's point of view?
It was a point of view, just a point of view, and I started actually mentally and inside judging you wrong, actually manipulating people into something that is so significant for them. I'm like, why would you even manipulate anybody into that, you know? That's great stuff. Why would you sell it? I mean, don't sell it to them. Like, they have to come to you and just, you know, just ask for it. Not to be manipulated. And I started to make you, like, yes, I judged you wrong. But I've been doing it previously. That's actually been judging me when I did that to other people, when I tried to incarcerate them, leave them, like, take a look, that's such a great... So
I'm going to pause you. I'm going to pause you. I'm sorry, I need to pause you. I need to keep moving on. But I get it. I get it. So there are an infinite number, or it seems like they're not actually infinite. There's a finite number, but it feels like there's an infinite number of illusions in our reality. How do you find what those illusions are, and how do you pull the plug on them? Is at the core your willingness to look at that and just commit to, I will look at all of this stuff. And then the next level in there is, there's another commitment about not going into story about anything. And so it's just like, oh, there's an energy here that feels like I'm going to die and everything's going to be crushed. It's like, okay, so clear, whatever. So it's, there's an infinite amount of illusion. How can you navigate out of all of it without actually going through it? That's where you get more skillful. The further you go, you get to go around it instead of going through the middle of it. Manipulation wants you to go through the middle of it, so you get stuck in it and trapped in it. After a while, you start to catch on to that. So, cool. Thank you. So it allows us, again, to expand to the size of the universe, and expand to the multiverse, and expand to the beyondverse, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond all that, into the infinite realms, and connect into your infinite being. And everything that's up, active, triggered, or engaged here, can we destroy and create all of that?
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, resend, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. And what are all the Mobius strips, quantum particulate, chicu implants, trifold sequencing systems here? And everything under, around, intertangle, intertwined with that, and under, around, intertangle, intertwined with that, and under, around, intertangle, intertwined with all that. And everything all that is, can we just try and create all that?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that.
Vaporize,
Yeah.
liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy.
Yeah.
Resend, revoke,
Vaporize,
recant,
liquefy,
reclaim, renounce,
vaporize.
denounce, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish. Cool. So as I was moving forward, I bumped into this topic of Wernicke's commands, and it was this guy by the name of Karl Wernicke, a German neurologist, psychologist, psychiatrist, who discovered that there's a part of the brain that they call the Wernicke's area, that they named after him. That's the language comprehension center of the brain. And it's connected to every other part of the brain that has anything to do with language. So your capacity to read, your capacity to speak, your capacity to think about words, and all of that is core to the Wernicke's area. It's almost like everything from the outside world goes first through the Wernicke's area and then passes into the other part of the brain. And anything from inside that you want to speak or communicate then passes through the Wernicke's area and then goes outside again. So here's this design of a brain, and manipulation has found a way to install itself right at that point and become a gatekeeper to your consciousness and your awareness. So these let me pull this back here. These are called Wernicke's commands, and this is actually the work of Stephanie Ralphie, I don't know how to pronounce her name. And she found, as she was working with people who had undergone mind control programming, that they had these phrases, that they had these phrases in there that were stored in this area of the brain. And they're stored as commands. Forget this. Don't remember this. You'll never remember this. Forget this ever happened. You will never remember this. You have no memory of this. This is not happening. Mind control is deactivated. And like, she found all these things, and she found them in multiple people. She's a researcher, and she would very meticulously go through and take notes and find this way of as precisely as she could, cataloging and recognizing these different statements in people. And forget about the military, forget about aliens, forget about this facility, forget this ever happened. You imagined this all happened. It's all in your imagination. You imagined all this. You made all this up. It was all a dream. This is all a dream. This is just a dream. You are dreaming. Does any of this stuff like register when I say it? Are you like boing, like, oh my God, I know this? Anybody feel this in you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, what's interesting, and she started to find this too, and my work started to find this too. I'm like, God, I have these in me. Did I undergo mind control programming? And that's an interesting rabbit hole in and of itself, and I'm not going to necessarily recommend that one does or does not explore whether you have mind control programming. But what I want to say is, I have discovered that mind control programming can be broadcast. Like, they can record a person undergoing mind control programming, their brainwave frequencies, and then those frequencies can be broadcast over, say, Wi-Fi signals, over cell signals, over microwave signals, over some form of electronic transmission. And you can actually pick this stuff up. So however you got it, that may be curious or not to you. I'm not going to say it's whether that's relevant or not. What I want to say is that most of us seem to have this stuff from somewhere, somehow, these commands that are there. And they have an interesting effect. And here's the effect, that when you go back to the brain, they're like a filtering system. Have you ever noticed that there are times where somebody says something and you can't actually hear the words they're saying? Like, you may be at a space with me sometimes where it's like, I know he's saying words, but I actually can't comprehend what he's saying. That's
happening right now.
Yeah, that's a filter in the Wernicke's area. So thank you. Let's actually clear that. So
Who are you?
So what are all the Wernicke's commands and booby traps that are here, that are up, active, triggered? Oh, hi there. Expand the size of the universe, perceive more. Expand the size of the multiverse, perceive more. Beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, perceive all of it. Whew. And everything that all this is, can we destroy and then create all of it?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that.
Choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. Resend, revoke, you can't reclaim, renounce, denounce. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. What is all the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog here? Expand to the universe, perceive more. Multiverse, perceive more. Beyond that, beyond that, beyond that. Perceive all of it. And everything, all that is, can we choose to destroy and create all that?
Yes.
Yay.
Yay! Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. All dimension liquefy, all direction liquefy. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Sovereign being, sovereign body, freeless, vaporize. Whoa. There you go. Thank you, and feel free to remind me when you're like blurred out. That blurred out thing is either Wernicke's commands or the energy fog stuff. So those things, like if you keep clearing those, like if you've got a clearing thing, practice, add those to your clearing practice. It will open up a door to conscious awareness that will be like, wow, I've been waiting for this. It's all right there. It's just cloaked over. Clear all that stuff out. So anytime that you notice that you can't hear something, like somebody's talking but you can't comprehend what's being spoken, or you're trying to say something and like you can't speak your truth, that's often a Wernicke's command. That's sitting in that gatekeeper role, that's basically being a filter to what you can take in and what you can put out. As you clear that, like the first time I talked about this stuff, I kept stuttering and tripping and da-da-da-da. Now it's just like, psh, whatever. So I've cleared a lot of that stuff. So the more of this stuff you clear, the easier that is. So whenever you bump into that, just ask, what are all the Wernicke's commands and booby traps that I have here? And expand to the size of the universe, multiverse, beyondverse, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that. Perceive all of it. And can we choose to destroy and create all this?
Yeah.
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. All dimension liquefy, all direction liquefy. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Whoa. So.
Jaden?
Yes.
Just quickly, when I've been working on this over the past year or so, there's also in that document, it refers to commands which prevent us finding commands or clearing commands. There's things like they're invisible, they don't exist, they're hidden, they're permanent, they can't be fixed, they're protected and shielded. So I've just found if something's not clearing, just to go to those first, get rid of those.
Yeah.
Then I can get.
Yeah, totally. It's interesting in that I've never actually deliberately gone through this and just cleared all of them, though you could. You could go through this in an organized way, though this isn't all of them by a long shot. What I did personally was I just started to add that to everything I do. That's kind of how I work. I'll get a new thing and I'll add it to everything I do and see what effect it has. And after doing that for a given period of time, I actually don't even use Wernicke's commands, booby traps anymore. or on rare occasions, because I don't notice them in my reality anymore. I've cleared them by adding it to everything I do. Does that make sense? Yeah. So doing them in an organized way is absolutely a cool thing too. Yeah. So the other thing that they talk about in there are booby traps. And booby traps are Wernicke's commands that basically have another piece to it that say, if this, then trigger that. And it's a larger construct. And so basically you just, and that's why I put it in the clearing, all the Wernicke's commands and booby traps, because they're connected together. And as we go further, I'm going to show you how to see more of those constructs and just remove like whole big chunks of that stuff so you don't have to keep dealing with it. It doesn't have the power it pretends to have. All this stuff is an illusion that hopes you buy into it. To the degree that you buy into it, it has impact in your reality. To the degree that you are aware of what is real and true, it has no impact in your reality whatsoever at all in any way, shape, or form. So if you get into a space where you're like, oh, I'm trapped in something, just expand, connect back to your infinite being, then clear it. And like it really is that simple. This reality is made up of so much illusion and garbage. As a matter of fact, I want to show you. Where is that? Yeah. So are there any other questions on this?
There is one.
Yeah.
It's a very weird question, and but it's really what you're talking about is like really touching on it, and it's that I feel like I function from two spaces. One is infinite being and like consciousness, and what Gary described, and I like accessed it even before knowing access, and I don't know how I accessed it.
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah.
That's one where I function really beyond the brain and beyond manipulation. And then there's the other space, which is most of my life, or with how I be with half the people or most of the people. It's weird. Is where I am under manipulation and brain and
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it seems like I'm expanding the first space, but I can only expand it so much.
Right.
And the only thing I'm doing.
I want to show you how to expand that completely and totally.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I mean, the only thing I am doing is just demanding that I expand it in every area of my life, and it's working, and it's giving me so much like of me. I would like to make it as easy as the first space, because it's like a totally different being.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I don't have it in that second space.
So it's you're what you're looking. So how much of that space is you, and how much of that space is the construct of manipulation here?
You mean the second one?
So how much of this space of the second of that unconscious, that kind of tangled in crap, is you, and how much of that is you perceiving what is? Do you see the difference in viewpoint there?
Sure, it's not me.
Like you're looking at it as if that's you and it needs to be fixed. What if that isn't you at all? What if you can just step out of that and go, oh yeah, that's interesting. That's here. That's cute. Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah. You got it. Let that register or update. Yeah. Like that's what when I talk about expanding, it's like when you can see that for what it is and start calling it out. Everything here keeps trying to personalize itself. Oh, this is you, this is you, this is you, this is you, this is you. It tangles you because it knows as an infinite being you can stand in any fucking point of view, any moment of the day. So it keeps trying to get you to stand in a point of view that's not yours, point of view that's not yours, point of view that's not yours. When you can start to recognize that pattern and recognize what those points of view are, you won't choose to stand in them anymore, and you'll just go out of my reality. And the other thing later on, I don't know if it'll be in the free part or not, but I'm going to teach you how to banish all these beings so you don't have to deal with them in your universe. They can be out in everybody else's universe, but they're not in your universe. You don't need to have this shit in your universe. You don't need to. We've been manipulated into thinking we have to have this stuff in our universe. What if that's not true?
Yeah, and it's like I know how to access that space, but then to like live from there is the tricky part.
Practice, and commitment. What you're saying, I demand this. Your commitment to it. I will show you more. Just in these next 3 or 4 sessions, I will show you some core tools that have the capacity to flip that, to change that paradigm.
Yeah, but thank you really for this.
You're welcome. So I'd love to expand you, and I want to take you into something where I want to show you the biggest picture I can possibly show you. And I want to show it to, and this is kind of strange, let me see if I can word it. There are things that there's the mind, the piece of mentalism that you think of as you that actually isn't you. Most of it's conditioned and programmed, but that's another story. There's you, the being, the infinite being, and then there's all this other stuff. You, the infinite being, isn't or doesn't need to be tangled or mired in this stuff, and you function in a different plane. I want to talk to the infinite being and all the other layers, but I'm going to focus this on the infinite being. I want to talk in a bigger language for the infinite being. And so I want to first expand you and connect you to that. So allow yourself to connect to the size of the universe, and allow yourself to connect to the size of the multiverse, and allow yourself to connect to the size of the beyondiverse, and beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, and into the infinite realms. And now connect into your infinite being. And what I want to do is I want to share with you this. I've perceived this stuff for a long time, but it took me the longest time to clear enough stuff that I could actually put words to it. And I want to put words to things that I know you perceive, but haven't necessarily had words to it. I want you to be able to see that it's not you going crazy, that you're actually seeing what this matrix is, what this construct of manipulation actually is. I'm going to take a drink first. So, number one, we expect certain processes of unfoldment, like this natural dynamic process of this universe in untangling polarity and coming back to the self. But that process has become entangled by scores of beings and doings whose motivation seems to be to gain control over this process so they can abort awakening. Just don't try to make sense of it. Just kind of notice what feels light, what doesn't feel light. Just take it in, or not, whatever. This is infinite being, connecting to infinite being. The matrix has brilliantly, dynamically entangled the system in such a way that it uses your own fixed viewpoints to bind you. It's effectively custom tailored to each person on the limitations and polarities that you hold. And what is all the unconsciousness, anti-consciousness energy fog? Unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, anti-consciousness, unconsciousness, Wernicke's commands and booby traps around all of this. Can we just try and create all of that?
Yeah, I choose that.
Yeah, I choose that. Why not? Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, all dimension vaporize, all dimension liquefy, all dimension vaporize, all dimension liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Once you get free from one layer, the system dynamically adjusts and enhances other existing layers. Like it's looking for ways of locking you down. It mimics and manipulates the universe's own dynamics to create expanding entrapments and seeks to remain unseen. Like, what I'm doing is not saying what's true, I'm saying what the qualities are that I perceive. You can work around all of this stuff. The system is designed to have the illusion of control and authority. It uses your fears and perceived limitations to create larger-than-life custom illusions in your reality. None of it actually being real unless you create it by putting extended focus on the imagined limitation. In other words, you create your own limitations. Most of them are just little tweaks in your reality that causes, the tweaks are designed to cause you to create the glitches in your reality. Manipulation doesn't work very hard. It just tweaks little things. And the system is designed, the system is not connected to source. So it requires to gain power and energy from everyone and everything around it. It actually gains power from you. Everything the matrix does is optimized to use the least amount of power to accomplish its ends. It is not powerful. It merely does small little tricks to create the illusions of power in your personal reality. It's all personalized. That's why it can nail you so specifically. It knows you, and it knows your hang-ups, it knows your buttons, it knows the viewpoints that you have, and it keeps trying to build on that larger constructs. The system has a limited capacity to create. It requires humans with souls, I call them creator beings, to create the limitations for it. Locally, it tricks you into creating your own limitations. Globally, it tricks corporations and governments into creating larger constructs of limitations. And now allow yourself to perceive all the Wernicke's commands booby traps here, and all the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog around all of this. Whew. And everything, all that is, can we choose to destroy and create all of that?
I choose that.
I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Rescind, revoke, you can't reclaim, renounce, destroy and create, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish, banish, vanquish. The system uses a sophisticated entity of artificial intelligence and synthetic mind that functions predominantly in the mental realms and uses or manipulates a myriad of other less aware alien races and humans to handle physical arrangements. Almost all humans' mental processing has been hijacked to some level. If your mind is running without you engaging it, what is causing that? I'll give you a suggestion. The system and its keepers are deathly afraid, and I do mean deathly afraid of, creator beings, i.e. you, connecting into their knowing and power. They are aware that that you are becoming aware, and that you have the capacity to quickly dismantle a majority of the illusion-based matrix. Once you get your reality cleared out, it doesn't take much to support other people. It's easier to clear out other people's reality than it is yours, because you can see through the bullshit because it's not custom for you. Your bullshit is custom for you. Your reality is custom for you. So all of the hot triggers are your hot triggers. Other people would be like, really? You believe that? And you're like, oh yeah, wait a minute. No, I guess maybe I shouldn't. You know, you see it differently. So like they know you can change everything. The illusion is thorough, complex, and has corrupted everything it can touch from every angle or aspect it can discover, or I'll add influence. In all that is, only a very small percentage of things have remained truly unmanipulated. Most beings are unaware of this and wrongly assume they are uncorrupted. I see that. I won't go into that. So what are all the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog, and Wernicke's commands booby traps around all of this? Expand to the universe, perceive more. Expand to the multiverse, perceive more. Expand beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, into the infinite realms. Perceive all of it. And can we destroy and create all of this stuff?
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah, I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. All dimension liquefy, all direction liquefy. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vapor, liquefy. Sovereign being, sovereign body, free will, vaporize. The system is largely disconnected from source. It currently cannot connect to source It can't connect to the same source that you connect to because it believes it's under its illusion that it is the true source of all life. It thinks it sourced you and it sourced everything. It's under that illusion. So it exists largely in an inverted pattern of truth, opposite of what you know to be true. That's why it has to get energy from everyone and everything. That's why it doesn't have a lot of energy. It doesn't have a lot of power. It has to do everything with scarcity. This reality is going into scarcity because we're becoming more and more like them, like the Matrix. We're embodying that. So we're running out of things and we're in scarcity and we're in poverty. We're becoming more of what that energy is. That's how you know whether you're in it or not. One of the ways you can tell. As a creator being connected to source, you have the capacity to single-handedly outcreate the matrix in your reality. Single-handedly. I'm serious. Serious. Single-handedly. The system does its best to trick you into believing you are small, limited, and insignificant for its own survival. Your unique and special gifts and capacities are the system's biggest targets for concentrating illusion and manipulation. It uses the most resources against the things that you are most potent at. In your area of reality, any area in your reality that is highly manipulated is likely to be an area of your unique potency, or they wouldn't fucking bother. They only hack at things that are considered dangerous. They don't have the energy to consume, wasting their time. So things that are highly wonky in your reality are probably areas of power for you. And they know that. The system comes from a war or battle mentality. It seeks domination, control, and conquest of this realm. From its point of view, its greatest adversary is the group of people awakening and becoming consciousness. Hi there. And sees this as its greatest threat to losing control and power, and ultimately its existence. It is fighting for its life, its existence. It knows it's going away. So it's not doing anything it does subtly. Does that explain more? Yeah. So what is all the Wernicke's commands? Booby traps, unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, or energy fog around all of this. Expanded the universe, perceive more. Multiverse, perceive more. Beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, perceive all of it. And everything, all this is, can we choose to destroy and create it all?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that.
I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vapor, liquefy. Sovereign
vanish,
being, sovereign body, free willing, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Rescind, revoke, you can't reclaim, renounce, announce, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize. The Matrix is playing all out as if for own its survival. If you intend to awaken and become conscious, it requires you to become bigger than it is. This means awakening to and using your gifts and capacities to your benefit. It requires you to play all out and step into all of you. The Matrix is playing all out. If you're going to outcreate it, you have to play all out too. If you're dabbling in this, you're gonna be constantly in the surf that's pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding. It's when you get bigger than it and you step outside of it. That's why sometimes you can go to workshop and you step outside of it for a while. But then you don't continue that intensity in your own reality, so you slip back and manipulation catches up to you and starts pounding and pounding and pounding, and it wants you to get smaller and smaller and smaller. You have to get bigger and stay bigger than it. That's the reason I'm doing an intensive course, that I want to hold a container in space that you can get bigger and stay bigger for an extended period of time so you can embody it solidly. That's my objective. The system
can you clear energy fog here?
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
feeling like I want to fall asleep.
Oh, good. So what is all the unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog, all the Wernicke's commands, booby traps, all the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, and everything outside of that, expanded the size of the universe, perceive more, and the beyondverse, perceive more, and beyond all that, beyond all that, beyond all that, beyond all that. And everything, all that is, can we choose to destroy and create all that?
Yes.
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah, choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize, all dimension liquefy, all direction liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. The system is slow. It works at longer wavelengths than you do. Your speed and capacity to work coherently without planning are your greatest advantages. When you take your time and plan, the system has the capacity to adapt to what you're going to do and creates blocks and distractions to your plan. The system is always seeking to slow you down so it can insert countermeasures. Your capacity to move quickly and dodge weirdness allows you literally to run circles around the matrix. Children are the greatest threat to the matrix. They are impulsive, creative, unbounded, and playful. These are qualities of an infinite being, and the qualities the system is not capable of. Be like a child, and you can overcome the system. The system does not actually understand what you are doing or what motivates you in play and creativity. It makes guesses and takes clues from your patterns of behavior and tests into your reality and inserts tests into your reality. If you engage that test, it explores that angle more deeply. It's always inviting you into creating your own limitations. So it's always looking for little glitches and little flaws. Bottom line is, the matrix doesn't actually understand what you're doing. It pretends it does, and it wants you to explain it. And I'll explain that in a minute. But if you just do your thing and don't think a lot about it, you outcreate very naturally and very easily. The matrix is not on all the time in your reality. There are windows of stronger influence and there are windows of weaker influence. You can sense this by the level of general resistance in your life. Attempting to move forward during times of stronger influence creates internal struggle and chaos. Playing during those times of stronger influence is the most dynamic thing you can do. You know, there's times when you can feel the intensity of stuff and you just give up and you just say screw it and you just start playing. Pretty smart. Okay? Like an example of this would be Mercury retrograde. Like, there are certain things you know are going to get more intense. The system is doing more. When you feel those periods, that's your time to play, not your time to be serious and try to be organized. 20, the system has been rigged to your disadvantage. When you can admit that to yourself, you can learn to work around it. It's nothing to make yourself wrong over. It's a setup. Everybody's got it. It's not just you. When you function from that awareness, you can perceive those elements and work around them with greater ease. Your awareness is your greatest ally, and your mind is likely connected to the system. Your mind is likely plugged into artificial intelligence. I think I talk about it later here. What is all the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, and energy fog around all of this? And all the Wernicke's commands, booby traps around all of this? And expand to the size of the universe, perceive more. And expand to the multiverse, perceive more. Expand to the beyondverse, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond all that. And everything all that is. Can we destroy and create it, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I choose that.
Yeah. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. When you are aware of what is in your way, you naturally and easily navigate around it. When you are unaware, you commonly blame yourself, put yourself down, or assume it's much bigger and scarier than it really is. It's just an illusion. The system does not understand the context of your emotions and thoughts, but it is very skilled at perceiving things that you make significant or important in your reality. When you make something significant, the matrix automatically begins to work to manipulate and block those things. You have been conditioned to make things significant and important to alert the matrix of your potential actions. Let that sink in. You don't make things significant for you. And the whole thing about in order to create stuff in your reality, you got to make it big and significant. What if that's a manipulation? The system is a master at understanding polarity. It has the capacity to use almost any fixed point of view you have to cause you to limit yourself. The less fixed points of view you have, the less you can effectively be manipulated by the matrix. So one of the other commitments that I suggest people make are to clear all fixed points of view. And I'll talk more about that later. But when you clear them all, the matrix has nothing to grab onto you with. There's just nothing to manipulate you with. They just can't grab you. The more you clear, the less grabbable and manipulatable you are. And I'll teach you how to recognize when the manipulation is using your points of view against you. And once you see it, you just clear it and it's gone. 24, the system relies on your thinking about things to limit you. Your hardwired connection to synthetic mind allows a simple thought to be inserted in your thought stream and the intention to trigger or activate an existing viewpoint you hold. I read that too quick. So what happens is you've got a connection to the matrix, to synthetic mind. And they can insert a little thought into your thought stream, and that thought is intended to trigger some emotion, to make you wrong, to make you put yourself down, to make you think you're bad, to put you in judgment. You don't generally do that. What if you don't generally do that? What if it's the matrix that's doing that when it's noticing you're getting too big? Do you ever notice that you have this feeling of every time I get big, something smashes me down again? Anyone experience that?
Yes.
I'm experiencing one right now.
Yeah. So it's like that act, like it's an internal hardwired system. You need to start recognizing what that is. That's why I want to read this to you. So this system causes you to attach to a fixed. Hang on. So through a thought stream, an intention to trigger or activate an existing fixed point of view. So you have a fixed point of view, a judgment that you hold, and they just drop something in to kick you into that judgment, to force you to engage that, and now you're in that polarity, and it causes you to redirect your thinking, and you begin to create your own limitations. It's actually, they do minimal stuff. You need to start seeing how you're being manipulated inside of your own mind. In the end, you limit yourself with your own polarity used against you. So as you clear polarity, they can't do that anymore. They'll try. But and you'll hear them sticking in a judgment. You just kind of sit there and grin, and I'll teach you how to banish them so they're not in your reality anymore. So 25, the system seeks to keep you constantly explaining yourself in your own head, in thought frequencies. You ever notice who are you explaining your life to? Who are you talking to? The matrix. Because it doesn't understand what you're doing. It needs you to explain. Being impulsive and just taking action when you feel in alignment has a very potent result that cannot be thwarted or blocked. If you don't explain things to the matrix has no fucking clue what you're doing. Stop explaining things to the matrix. Notice when you're just saying things and you're explaining yourself. Ask who you're explaining that to. 26, the more aware you become, the more dynamically the matrix begins to interact with you. If you're not being aware, the matrix doesn't care. You're handled by the prefab things that everybody's under. You start to break out, it starts to pay attention to you. It's your time to keep getting stronger. When you get smaller, you're going backwards and you're going to get beat on. You have to outcreate that. You have to get bigger than that. Being impulsive, this demands you to become continually more aware and more self-aligned so you can outcreate or work around that system. Last item, the system encourages spaces and times of your unawareness so it can build up or install new manipulations. Remaining unaware is key to remaining aware, manipulation. Remaining aware is the key to not giving the matrix time to create new structures. So when you go unconscious for a period of time, when you go out, that's when they're putting shit back. If you never go out, or if you make a commitment to keep getting back to you and keep clearing and keep getting back to you and clearing and not accepting being taken out, they can put less in, and you get through all the crap faster without them putting more shit back in again. Okay? So what is all of the Wernicke's commands and booby traps around all this? And all the unknowable, unspeakable, unseeable, untouchable, undetectable, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, and energy fog around all this. And expand to the size of the universe and perceive more. Expand to the size of the beyond universe, perceive more. And beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond that, beyond all that. And perceive all of it. And everything that all that is, can we choose to destroy and create all of that?
Yes.
I choose that. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. All dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize, all dimension vaporize, all direction vaporize. Vaporize, liquefy, vaporize, liquefy. Resend, revoke, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce. Vaporize. So what I've done here, let me stop this. What I've done here is I've actually deliberately blurred you out to nothing. You probably feel like you're like splattered against the wall or something like that. Just kind of I want to see how much, this is part of being a guinea pig on my studio audience. I want to see how fast I can show you this stuff. If this works, it's amazing. If not, I'll help you to untangle it, so it'll be okay. But it's like, if your infinite being can grab this, you'll automatically start putting stuff in place, and shit will just start changing in your universe automatically. You won't know how or why. You'll just notice you'll start getting clearer. That's what I'm targeting. I was targeting to talk to your infinite being. Everything else is kind of takes a blur out in the meantime. Part of it is you're not necessarily used to engaging at this frequency. Like, what if your infinite being, like, do you feel like stretched? How do you feel right now?
Relaxed.
What's that?
Relaxed. I feel relaxed.
You feel what?
Relaxed.
Relaxed. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Cool. How else?
Expanded into like who I truly be.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. And if you're semi-comatose on the floor, that's okay too. It's all good. It's all good. What's that?
Activated.
Activated. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. This is a little experiment to see how much you can take. I have a feeling you can take a lot, and that's just a guess. We'll find out. So let me. Yeah.
Sorry.
What's that?
Can you?
I can hear you.
This is short. Okay. I actually feel enlightened because I have had my strokes with my Wernicke's commands and booby traps, and that I actually was afraid of actually getting more, but I was commanding that I need to look at everything.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Anytime you bump into the fear, you want to start asking, is that my fear or is it their fear?
Yes.
And if it feels like your fear, in a lot of cases, if you expand to the universe, multiverse, beyondverse, and into the infinite realms, and then ask again, it won't be your fear. You'll be like, holy shit, that's not mine. Yeah, no, it's they're deathly afraid. That, like, their life, they feel that their life is at stake. If it's true or not, I don't know. I mean, they'll exist somewhere even if we clear them all. They don't totally disappear, but whatever. They will lose this realm. And that's, I don't have a problem with that. They have a problem with that. And probably rightfully so on their part. But what it does, another way of looking at this whole thing, is this is inviting you into becoming more of who you truly be quickly. Like, isn't that what you want? Like, don't you want this to be quick? Like, enough of the bullshit. I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. That's you can look at manipulation as a tool that's inviting you to very quickly get up to speed. That's another.
Jaden.
Yeah.
I perceive myself expanded and okay, but I also perceive kind of the matrix or that other beings in an alert, like OMG, here is like a red flag, and everybody's like, whoa, something is really going on. I feel like both things at the same time.
Yeah. So allow yourself. So what energy, space, and consciousness can we be to put the matrix at ease and like to sleep?
Yeah.
Why,
Like,
like, why not? It's like, you know, oh, poor dear, let's just give you a little Valium and you'll go. So grab your little your matrix Valium capsule. And ready? On the count of 3, let's get like an air gun and load a whole bunch of them in there. Like a machine gun that we're playing a machine gun.
How about a syringe?
That has all these. Oh yeah, or a syringe. Yeah, like just inject it mainline into the whole matrix. And so grab one of those too. Some people take syringes. And ready? Just on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And the whole matrix goes.
According to how tired you feel, you know how much is in you yet.
So true. What did you notice happen when we did that silly little thing that we just did?
Got lighter.
It got lighter.
Yeah, lighter. Yeah,
it got quieter in my reality. I could feel like there was less. It just went. Yeah. There's more ease. I can feel more ease. And that was just us being silly and playing. What if there's a potency and a power in that play? I don't know. I'm just offering that. I could be totally off base, but maybe not.
Jaden, if I may.
You may.
I have an awareness to contribute.
But you know what? I'm just looking at the time. Holy shit. Okay. Make it a quick awareness. Yes.
Very quick. Okay. So I've noticed, that when you're sort of playing with, okay, to make this quick. So when you're looking to not sort of tip off manipulation as to like what you're doing, there's almost like a counteractive way. Like there's like a way that they know that you don't want them to know. So it's like they try to distract you into like pretending like you're not giving them information, but you totally are.
Yeah. So those are systems. Those are constructs there.
Yeah, I get that, but I just wanted to contribute.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So actually, when you notice those, thank you for bringing that up. When you notice those, clear those. Like, notice all those constructs and just clear all of that. Just keep ripping that the guts out of that stuff. Yeah. There's all manner of manipulations in there. When you notice it, rip it out by its roots. Thank you for that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Jaden, can I just very quickly add something? You mentioned a couple of times you are a creator being, and there was a part of me, and then you would say connected to source, and there was a part of me that was having a sort of a no you're not in your face sort of thing. And by the end of the call, I felt so much clearing and so much like you'd released so much. And at the end, I'm almost like I can actually say now I'm an infinite, affluent creator being consistently connected to source, and it rings true for me.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that, because I don't know how or what you did that opened that, but it's just a very strong awareness that I have. So I'm so looking forward to going forward and seeing what this brings into my life.
So it's one of these things where it's like, thank you for saying that. It's like it's a thing of practice. You're an infinite being. You can stand in any frequency you choose. And so I've invited you into standing into the frequency of an infinite being as fully and solidly and flat out full on as we can muster it. And you have the capacity to do that and be that. You also have the capacity to stand in the point of view of some alien that's trapped in the matrix, that is a servant to the matrix, and it is just a pathetic, low-life pile of garbage that is one day going to be crushed in the whole scheme of the construct. That's its perspective. And you can be its perspective too. The more you practice being a perspective that's more natural to you and clearing out all the other perspectives and things that anchor those perspectives, the more you naturally be you. Does that make sense?
I love it. Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's not brain surgery, but it's a getting how the pieces work and engage each other. And when you can see it, and that was my intention today, when you can see it and you can start to commit to, I am going to stand in being an infinite being every waking moment of my existence, in the sleeping ones too. I haven't done that yet. I may have to play with that. It's like there's something about committing to that changes stuff. And if you do this quickly enough, you can just outcreate all that crap. That's the objective. That's my objective anyway. So, and that's my invitation, is to do that. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. So I'd like you to, when we clear this space, so I'm going to go into wrap-up mode here. When we clear this space, we've like stepped out of all the bullshit, and we've just stepped out of it. So there's two things we do. Once we cleared space, we want to fill it with something. If you clear, like it's your universe, all this manner of crap has moved in. If you don't fill it back up with you, then there's an empty space for manipulation to move itself back in again, and you're constantly battling it away. You want to keep filling up your universe with all of you. So full, so compacted with you that nothing and no one else could even possibly fit there at all in any way, shape, or form. So one of the ways that I do this, one of the tools, is using this. And I've got a word, I'm just going to run you through it. So allow yourself to call in 1,000% of your being's organic soul, organic spirit, organic natural mind. Not the manipulated version of those three, but the original, authentic, organic version of that. Bring that in and flood all of this space that we've cleared today. Just fill all of this space. Just fill it. Bring in more of you, more of you, more of you, more of you. Flood this space, flood this space, flood this space, flood this space. And flush out all the constructs, structures, adaptations, mutations, and systems. Just imagine there's like a big drain below you. Pull up the drain plug, throw it out, and let all of this garbage stuff just flush down, and you fill in all of this space. All of the structures, constructs, adaptations, mutations, and systems, just flush all of that stuff down the drain. They feel like girders and beams and metal things and concrete things, and just flush it all down the drain like a big tsunami comes through and just gone. Nothing can stand up to it. Flush it down the drain. There you go. And then call in 1,000% of your body's organic soul, spirit, natural mind. And we'll talk more about that in the course. But just body, bring in 1,000% of your organic soul, spirit, natural mind, and fill all of this space. And if this doesn't make sense to you, don't worry about it. Just let it happen. So body, bring in 1,000% of your organic soul, spirit, natural mind. Fill in all of this space. Beyond the size of your physical body, fill in the entire universe of space that you occupy, or that you perceive. Fill it all in with you and flush everything down the drain, that all the constructs, structures, adaptations, mutation systems, flush it all down the drain. Just flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it. You got it. Flush it, flush it, flush it. Good. Flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it. Keep going. And then body, fill all this space again and claim and own this space. Bodies need to own space. It doesn't apply to beings. I didn't word it exactly right. Bodies like to claim and own space. So body, claim and own all of this space is yours. So bodies say, this is mine. This is my space. And just let yourself feel that. This is my space. All of this universe, this is my universe. This is my planet. This is my solar system. This is my galaxy. This is my universe. Mine. My universe. Feel that. And allow more of you to come in to fill all of that up. And everything that kicks up or is in the way, all the constructs, structures, adaptations, mutation systems, just flush them all down. Flush them all down. Flush them all down. Flush it all down. Flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it, flush it. And body, overflow this space and connect to the organic planet as it actually is. There you go. And being, bring in 1000% of your organic soul, spirit, natural mind, and just fill all this space again. And you and body kind of fit in between each other, like you overlap each other, like your frequencies that overlap, they sit in the same space with each other. So one doesn't kick out the other. So fill in all of the space that body has and all of the space that you have, and just fill all that in, fill it in, and flush out all the constructs, structures, adaptations, mutation systems. Just flush them out. There you go. And being, overflow and connect to the organic planet as it actually is. There you go. And how does that feel?
Absolutely marvelous. Yeah. That was fabulous.
Isn't that great?
Wow.